Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. We're back and let me just okay. So today I want to talk about the importance or the benefit of squad battles, which is going to sound really strange at first glance, but I want to just touch on the points that I've listed behind me there on the notepad. Um, yeah, so this might sound funny coming from someone who just hit rank 2 in the second weekend league of this year in EAFC 25. But part of the reason why I've gotten better, at first 2 years ago, I was like a rank 5 player, worked my way to like basically a rank 4 player, worked my way towards getting more rank 3s, um, I, to a point where I pretty much feel like I am or have been a rank 3 player, and now somehow hit, rank 2 in my first or my second weekend league of this year. I would still pretty much consider myself a rank 3 player if I'm being honest, but that's also because I don't really abuse some of the rattiest mechanics in the game. Um, but anyways, let's just dive into this. The main reason why I'm making this video is because part of the way I've improved from like a rank 5 player to a rank 3 or even occasionally rarely a rank 2 player is through practice. And I think the best place in the game to practice a lot of this stuff is actually something like squad battles, or even you could say the moments section. But in squad battles, you can multitask like crazy compared to like the moments section. Okay, so hear me out. I want to gloss over all of these points, and let's see if by the end of this, if this changes your mind at all about squad battles. Because I know on the surface, people think it's a complete joke to play any squad battles, but when you consider the combination of benefits that I've listed here, I actually think that you can justify if you want to improve at the game or you want to build your club, or improve some of your preferred players. Okay. So, first of all, besides practice, you can multitask with other stuff. If you're watching some sort of content or listening to something, um, and you're not completely fully immersed in that and you want to, get some squad battle points in the background, like occasionally looking at the game and scoring an easy goal, you could do that. Okay. And that's not even that's like the least crucial benefit of squad battles, and you still get something out of it. Especially if you're an RTG like I am, right? For anyone who's like a free to play player, it's a pretty easy way to get some extra coins in your club, basically, and some extra resources that are tradable. Okay, main point here at number 2, practice skill moves. You know, I actually find some of the 5-star skill moves are actually much easier than some or more intuitive for me for some reason than 4-star or 3-star or even 2-star skill moves. So the skill moves that I find I'm not using as much as I should in actual competitive games, I can make a note of them. I can go into um a squad battle, right? And just practice some of them and make it become a little bit more second nature for me. And that's actually a valuable skill as far as this game goes. Also, something I had never thought I would be willing to do in the past is green timing some of my shots. I don't do it all the time, but I'm scoring more goals, especially like long range goals, finesse shots, or scoring headers off of corners with green timed shots. And I run on ping that's like an average of 40 to 45 ping. My ping, I would say, ranges from about 35 to 55. And I always just assumed I would never bother with green timing because I don't have the best ping in the world. And it's a silly mechanic because it's really unfair to people who have higher ping. To be honest, it's a completely ridiculous mechanic. It's not a real skill. It's kind of silly, but they have it in the game. It's a mechanic. And now I've gotten better at it. And the only place I've ever practiced that is in squad battles. And now I'm finding that it's actually helping with me winning some of these important games. Um, Practicing player locking. Speaking of a mechanic in the game that I never thought I would sort of actually implement, I could wrap my head around it. I understood how it was performed. I could see mechanically how people do it. But I never thought that it would become something that I would implement. And now I find myself occasionally player locking in crucial situations when I have the time, and the situation calls for it. I can effectively player lock and end up with some really outstanding scoring opportunities, and some of those I capitalize on. And I would have never, you just may not score those goals if you don't player lock. Seems really sweaty. It's when I see someone player locking, I used to always think like this guy is an ultimate sweat. Like this is another level. I am not going to be able to compete with this guy. This person's player locking. It's kind of a sign of a real sweat, someone who's really, really focused on the game, right? And now I'm someone who's actually player locking, and it's only because I practiced it in squad battles, and it is a phenomenal training ground to practice player locking because the pressure is very low. There's no real pressure unless you're picking a super high difficulty. But if you pick a moderate, or above average difficulty, it's still much lower stress than playing in division rivals or weekend league, right? So it's perfect. A little bit of pressure from the AI, but nothing like a serious competitive game, especially in the higher divisions or the higher elos of weekend league. Practicing set pieces, corners, and free kicks. Now, free kicks, you don't really get that often, to be honest, but still you get some on occasion, and it's a nice opportunity to practice. I guess the free kicks you could more efficiently practice in moments. Now that I think about it, there's probably some moments that you can just load up a free kick. Fair, but corners you can farm, and probably same with corners actually, to be honest, but still, these still fall under the category of something you can practice in squad battles. And combining the corners that you can farm and the green time headers, it's very beneficial. Okay. Just a moment here. Okay. We're almost there. So on top of all these very useful mechanics you can get better at, you can also multitask, right? Player objectives. And there's one that I want to point out right now, and this kind of ties a lot of this together. So I just completed, I'm in I'm hanging around in Division 2 right now. I don't want to work my way into Elite because it's way too sweaty. I'm not, you know, a streamer. I'm not someone who is no lifing this to the highest degree possible. I do not really care to be in Elite Division at this point in time right now in the year. If I really wanted to sweat it, sure, I have the ability to be in Elite Division. I would consider myself an elite player. I would not feel like I'm one of the best elite players, that's for sure. I'm not some sort of rank 1 15-0 or 20-0 type of player. That's not me, at least not anytime yet. We'll see how the year plays out. I don't know. But I'm not trying to fight for my life every single game in this game. Okay. So I'm comfortably in Division 2 getting the maximum rewards, 15 wins, winning majority of the games still. But once I hit the majority of my games, I'm not trying to push more higher divisions. I just think that's completely pointless. The margins in the rewards are negligible at that point. So there's no point really for your typical, even above average skill level player. It seems ridiculous to me to do that. But I want to point something out. Parejo okay, I just replaced one of my favorite center mids. This is going to sound crazy, but Gayoro, the female from PSG, she was part of my 13-2 weekend league rank 2. I felt like she was incredible, especially for her price. You're talking under 10K with a shadow. Incredible center mid, incredibly well-rounded, great play styles. Actually was using her without a role, no role plus, no role plus plus, using her as a center mid, actually as a holding center mid. Anyways, when I started to face some adversity a little bit in Division 2, I replaced her with Parejo, this objective card, and I was really impressed. It didn't dawn on me before that to actually try Parejo. And on top of that, Parejo happens to have Dead Ball Plus. And I'm realizing that um, I believe there's a way in the game to score direct corners, especially with a player with dead ball plus. So now on top of all this, I'm going to practice with an objective card that I got done through squad battles casually while getting evos done, which is the last point I want to make. I'm now going to try to, and this sounds super ratty, but I actually find it's kind of cool. One of my favorite things to do, which makes no sense in real life, is to score these direct corners, like from the corner taker directly into the net, especially when players move their keeper. I think it's one of the most important mechanics in the game. I remember in past years, the last couple of years, I learned it in each year. It seems like eventually they sort of patch or they change with each patch. I don't know why EA does this or if it's even intended, but they change, like you have to perfectly, there's a perfect set of circumstances where you have the right angle and the right power and all this sort of stuff and the right kind of player where you can score these direct corners. But then it changes with these patches, I feel like. And I don't know if they do it on purpose, but again, I've decided now that I've gotten this Parejo card that I'm enjoying so far, that I'm going to figure out how to do that on the left side of the pitch because he is right-footed and you can curl it directly into the net under the right circumstances. And that will, on top of the other things that I've gotten better at, that'll help me win some of these tight games, especially when, hey, look, the players I'm playing, on average, they're pretty ratty. And on average, a high percentage of them are pay to win players. So, I have no moral issues with implementing this. I actually think it's a fun way to score, to be honest. Of all ways to score, I think it's way better than Travellas, these 40-yard Travellas that people are scoring. I actually find this to be more enjoyable personally. So the last point is obviously the evolutions, the evos. Now, so far, this is a topic for maybe another video. So far, the evolutions mostly have been trash. Some of them have been meta. If there's like a Rashford evo and stuff like that, and but most of the evos have been trash. But I am someone who's interested in working on a Barcelona past and present team, and I'm evolving some players that right now aren't that great. But I believe they have great potential in the future. For example, I put Sergio Busquets through 2 of the pace evos, so he's still not really not usable, but he's a lot closer to where the card should be. And then Mark Casado, I'm chaining a bunch of evolutions with that card, and then apparently in a bit of time there will be a Jude Bellingham inspired Evo that I believe he may fit really well for. We don't know, time will tell. But anyways, I digress. Considering all these things, I think squad battles is very underrated. I think some people laugh at playing squad battles, but I think it's fair to say I'm a better player than a lot of the people who criticize squad battles. And I'm not just trying to say that to toot my own horn. I'm just being honest. I think it's not about me or my skill level. I'm just saying as someone who seeks to get better at what I do, including playing a video game, practicing on a training ground, even though this is a virtual pitch, in this case, legitimately helps you improve at the game or whatever you're doing. So food for thought. Tell me if this changes your mind at all about squad battles. This is how I've gone. To be honest, this is a meaningful part of how I've legitimately gone from a rank 5 player when I started playing this game 2 years ago to being what I would define as a rank 3 player who has occasionally gotten rank 2, including this past weekend, which I kind of can't believe. But anyways, hope you're all doing well. Hope you're in good health. And I will hopefully see you tomorrow with another video. Take care. Peace.